Now, that Herpa models sometimes have some issues is not news. Sometimes collectors can live with them, sometimes they can't. I knew that this aircraft model has a massive issue, which is why I didn't want to buy it, but luckily the guys from the F&B shop had a very good deal on it, which is why I was able to purchase it, so I can show you so you can be aware before buying it. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 767-300ER of United Airlines. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the United Airlines branding. And then we have the backside of the box, which in this case is equally as good as the aircraft model. And for any of my viewers who don't understand sarcasm, this was it. And here she is, the Boeing 767-300ER in the standard livery of United Airlines. And as I said in the beginning of the video, this aircraft model unfortunately has a massive issue, which I will talk about more in detail at the end of the video, so do stay tuned for that. Because first I would simply like to take an overview, a general look at the aircraft model itself to see what it actually has to offer. And the best way to do that is by starting a tour around the aircraft model with a look at the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the United Airlines branding. On the fuselage we then find the full registration code of the aircraft, the flag of the United States of America. Next to the cabin door we have 4 digits, which is an internal registration code. On top of the fuselage we find the addition of a sat dome, and towards the very tail of the aircraft we do also have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we then have the writing of United. We do also have some almost hidden static ports across the fuselage here. We also find the Star Alliance logo, of which the airline is a founding member, and underneath that we have the company slogan, "Connecting people, uniting the world." Underneath the nose we then have the aircraft type specification, which leads us straight to the cockpit section itself, which comes with the cockpit windows and the window wipers. The engine nacelles have been given the blue color of the United branding and have the silver leading edge, as well as some safety relevant markings printed on, which I think looks pretty decent. The same thing goes for the physical detailing, where I think Herpa has also done a very good job, especially here from the front, where we very nicely can see the engine fan blades. On the fuselage, just above the wings, we then have the emergency exits printed on, which leads us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at, starting over the top side, where we can see the different flaps, slats and spoilers have been carved out, although that could definitely have been a little bit more pronounced, but we do also have the markings for the emergency exit printed on. The underside I think looks much better when it comes to physical detailing, and then we also have these massive winglets on the 767, which also have been given the United blue. Then we can also take a quick look at the landing gear, which is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all their 767 aircraft models. The main landing gear I think looks pretty decent. Also the front landing gear is not too shabby, although of course I am missing some printed details here. And then last but certainly not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft, and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 767-300ER in the current standard livery of United Airlines from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there is something we very much need to talk about. Now, when it comes to the physical detailing, Herpa is doing a good job. The mold for the 767 they have, I think, is very good. We have some lovely details with, for example, the set dome. Also the winglets, I think, are pulled off very nicely. The print itself is actually also not so bad. I mean, we have some lovely details, there aren't really any smudges, and yet we still have a massive issue in the print. Now, when I first looked at this aircraft model, I was a bit perplexed because there was something off. At first I thought it was maybe the United writing that was misplaced, or maybe they'd used the wrong font, but no. All the details we see on the aircraft model are placed as they should, except for one, and that distorts the overall look of the aircraft completely. I'm talking, of course, about the print we have on the belly, the grey belly and the blue cheat line. Now, if we look at the aircraft in real life, notice how far in the front the blue cheat line begins. Do also notice how much of a curvature we have right after that. And then when we look at the back cabin door, look how close the blue cheat line is to that. If we then compare that with the Herpa model, I mean, the cheat line starts way too far back, just in front of the front landing gear. We don't really have any curvature underneath the United writing, and the distance to the back cabin door is also far too great, which leads me to the conclusion that this entire element of the print is misplaced. And as I say, this kind of distorts the entire overall look of the livery on the 767, which is a huge shame because that is what makes the 767 look so fantastic. Now, what annoys me here is not so much the fact that a mistake was made. That can happen to anyone. The problem here is, of course, that it is so blatantly obvious that it cannot have gone unnoticed from Herpa Wings, and yet they decided to send the model out as is, which is just once again proof that they do not care about their product. So it is with great regret that I conclude that I do not recommend this aircraft model for one's collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.